All right, so let me say hello and welcome to another weekly edition of Stock Market Mutterings. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. This is for the 23rd of December. And as always, my promise to you is I will try to take a grope in the murkiness. I will try to make some sense out of this market and try to provide you with some quality trade setups just to help you make a little bit of money. For each and every one of you that need a little bit more help, as always, visit the link on the screen and you can start trading with us live. And if we go back to last week, what else can be said? We are in this permanent melt up market. That's all it does. It's like Groundhog Day. Every day you get up, it's like a tiny gap, and then it just floats away. And at this point, I expect, just like I said last week, I expect absolutely no surprises whatsoever until the end of the year. I would imagine this just continues. And at this point, I'm trying to think about what might come by to actually pull this market back. We've seen the trade war, just shrugged that off, made high. We had some interest rate issues. It shrugged that off. We make new highs. You got impeachment, shrug that off, make new highs. It doesn't matter. This is the Teflon market. Whatever's being thrown at it, it just continues to go higher and higher. And in my opinion, it's not until these algos, because this is not human beings just chasing these prices up and up over and over again. It's more algos than anything. Until these algos decide that they're paying too much and these computers realize that, hey, we're paying too much for this shit, then maybe it'll come down. But, all joking aside, I just don't expect any surprises here going through the week. However, this is the stock market, and I could always be wrong. We could always get a surprise. And you know what? I mean, isn't this just an incredible difference from last Christmas? You guys remember last Christmas? I mean, it looked like it was just like the apocalypse was upon us, huh? But what a recovery. What a recovery this year. What a incredible bull market this year. One of the strongest I've ever been a part of. It's kind of given me 1999 and 2000 year flashbacks, but just this incredible nuttiness out here. And because of the volume being so light, I just don't expect that to change. So govern yourselves accordingly. Now, the top stock that we were talking about last week was Tesla. And I got to say, this one was pretty good. And it's like everything that I am looking at is just blowing through my target. If you remember, we were just talking about this thing breaking the 359s, the 360s, and running up maybe 15, 20 bucks. Damn thing went all the way into the 400s, actually 412s on Friday. It's like these things just stretch. They just go and go and go. Nvidia was another one. It broke high. So when you guys are in these trades right now, one of the things I've talked about several times in whiteboard lessons and other happy hours is you enter these market periods where you're in a risk on and a risk off. If there's one thing that I feel I did not do well last week is I didn't have enough risk on the table. Now, it's easy to say in hindsight when the market is like this, but you are right now in a risk on market. You have very little in your way that can cause instantaneous market corrections or market drops. And if it does drop, it normally gets picked up real quickly. So it's a risk on market. You could get away with being a little bit heavier on your position sizes and stuff like that. Now, at some point that's going to change, but like I said in the beginning, I don't forecast that changing here until maybe the beginning of next year. If that, maybe it takes another quarter. Who knows? It's just we're in this, whatever it is, and it's just going to have to stick with it until it isn't. So, like I said, Tesla, Nvidia, all great trades this week. And again, they surprised me as well because they hit my targets and just kept on going and just kept on going. In our swing program, we got like $30-some on Nvidia. Just nutty moves. Take advantage of it while you can. Now, what I want to do here as well is I think those plays are kind of off the table for holding throughout the week. Maybe some scalps, some day trades in there. Obviously, there's always a trade in Tesla, but they're really, really high. There might be some value somewhere else, and that's what I'm going to try to focus this market mutterings on, is trying to find some value in some other names. Some of these you have heard if you follow this. One is LULU. I like the way LULU is setting up here. This is what we saw with Nvidia. This is what we saw with Facebook. And this is what we saw with Tesla. Now, it might not have that kind of power, but it probably does have the kind of power Nvidia does. But you see that setup, and that's any of these things that were at recent highs, pulling back into moving average, consolidating for the week, just waiting for their turn, and then exploding out of a range. And that's exactly what happened on Friday. Last week this thing pressed through a new high, was sold off from 234, just nestles down nicely in 222s along the 10 and 20 moving average, and then Friday it finally breaks that 6-7 day worth of trading range. And right now there's no resistance until you get back up to the 234s. So the way I look at these trades, just like I looked at Tesla and Nvidia, is when they pull back and they base and they start to curl up out of there, your target should be, in most cases, back to where the highs were. So in this case, that is the 234. So if you make that trade, if you're a day trader, you're trading it with the potential to get your $4 to $6 worth of range in it a day. If you're a swing trader, you're going to be focusing on that 234. Now, if this week is any indication of what next week might be, you could look at something like this just blowing right through that, and then these algos seem to have some sort of scanner that they just eat things up at highs. They just run these things to the oblivion. I don't know what it is, but you know, it goes through 235. Who's to say you don't get 240, 250? I mean, I wouldn't discount that. The volume is so light and it's so one-sided to the buying side that you could see big moves like this, and LULU has had some success with long-term runs and sustaining that. So watch this one here. I like it. I like it a lot. TTD might be another one here. It's another low float beta. It's a little bit erratic if it's something, if you don't have a larger risk appetite. I should say, if you're not adapt to handling the swings of this, it could be a little nutty. Like today, just alone here, it gaps up 264, slides to 259, and bounces back up to 264. There's a lot of range in there, so be prepared for that and position yourself accordingly. But another one here that's just tapped right on top of its last run up. It stalled out last time at 266s. Looks like it's going to mess around with this number early in the week. So watch that 266. Maybe not buying it the first time it crosses that, or if it does at all, but pay attention to it. If it can really cross that and build a pattern, you may see this stock run significantly. I mean, look at this last run that it had throughout November, going from 193 to 268. I mean, this is in some insane shit, dudes. Sorry for my language, but man, what are you going to say here? So TTD, I like that one. RH is also something I've spoke about a lot. Traded it a couple of weeks ago. It was on the list. Same thing. I just want you to continue to look at this pattern. Right here, it broke out. This is what we were wanting to see. You got this big parabolic move, just like you're seeing with LULU. It come back, nestled into the 20 moving average, running sideways here. Just needs a lift out of this range. I'll put the alert up here. This is what I'm looking at. That would be around 227.30, 227.29. You get a close above there, or you get a strong move above that. You're probably going to see this also try to get back to its high, which is 240. So we're talking about $20 in range out of these things, possibly, if they set up. Now, we have to see how things play out, but I would definitely pay attention to this one. Sticking with this theme of low float betas with the TTDs, another one I've talked about before. I love these stocks. PAYC, you can see another one. Big time run up on this one, almost identical to RH. Fades back into the moving average, curling up here. Same thing, a nice close on this one. This one traded really, really thin today, much thinner than normal, but I think you're going to see somewhere between 274 and 280 on this one. And then last is WDAY. Now, WDAY might be able to put in a lot more than all of them. It's got a little bit more. Where did I put it? Or did I? Hold on. WDAY. WDAY. Nice one here. This one's actually coming up out of range with a really strong day. Now, the difference between this ones and the last ones that I had shown you is these others are breaking out and they're approaching high. Well, maybe not TTD, but the rest of them are breaking out and are in bullish formation patterns, at least short-term bullish. This is actually a bearish chart with a bullish day. That's all it was. And why that's important is it's hard to really take in, what does this mean? Is this the start of something like a multi-day, multi-month run on something like this? Has it reached a bottom? You know, has it found that? Or is it just a flash in the pan and it's just going to be a one-off, one-day thing? Now, normally when they're already in the upcycle, they'll continue to gain momentum and it's a little easier to read. So like Tesla last week, it's already been in somewhat of a really bullish for several months now. And it's just sort of just running and running and running. So you kind of figure that part out. Here, you don't know that yet, but it looks like it's found a short-term bottom. It's been messing around with these 160s now for a couple of weeks. Got out of there nicely today. It wouldn't be my first purchase on a Monday morning, but just kind of watch it. See maybe if there's a few setups here, some areas of interest where it can set up. But if you start to see some volume come into this name, you start to see it really stay right here where it is and the dips get bought, I wouldn't be surprised to see this move somewhere close to 180. So anyway, guys, what do I say? It's going to be Christmas. Enjoy it, man. Whatever you do, wherever you're going, whatever you're seeing, whatever you believe in, man, I don't care. Just have some fun. Have some fun with yourself. Take a moment to reflect on your year. You got 2020 coming up here. Hope your 2019 was good. We'll talk about that more in some upcoming videos. But if you guys are struggling, man, take a good look in the mirror. Take a good thought about where you are right now as a trader and where you want to be in 2020. And what are the resources and the tools that you're going to need to change yourself to get to that next level, to get to that next plateau, to set the bar a little higher for yourself. You know, and this good time of the year for us to do that, to spend with friends, family, loved ones, buy ourselves, whatever we want to do, and kind of reflect on the good things that we did this year and the things that we want to improve on. So as always, you need help, you know where I'm at. Take care, trade well. I know it's a short week. Some of you might be traveling, but anyway, trade them well. Until next time.